Hey guys, hope you're having a good day. So I'm gonna do an insight into past, present, future, like this in-depth reading. I've been wanting to do it since yesterday. Yesterday I did like a little, just like one card for each, but I keep having this like pulling to do this. And yesterday was the first one I did. This one is the first one I'm actually doing like a full reading on it. So kind of this guidance I'm getting is what cycles we're in, what's kind of going on with everything, like what in the past is affecting us that's keeping us kind of stuck, where that's shifting or that's healing, or what's going on with the past, what's going on with the present, and what's going to go on with the future. Like, that's pretty obvious, right? But like how these things in the past have not like left, or how they're affecting us from moving forward, and how they're affecting us in this current energy, and like what's going on with that, and seeing like how we can change this or what we're doing to work toward certain things. So I'm just gonna pull some cards. We're gonna do this like way more in depth than I did last night, because that was just like a reading, and then I just had like the urge to do it. So all right, we're gonna start with the past. I'm gonna just kind of go with the flow, and we'll see how I want to pull it. Excuse me. Past. All right, what do we need to know about the past? We got this card yesterday, the understanding card. I don't remember if it was for that though. I just saw the Lovers card like 2 times keep popping out. So some of you definitely could be a relationship thing for sure. Yeah or no? It did not. We'll see if it comes out. I would say did not want to come out. We got the understanding card, the laziness, but there's definitely another like 1 or 2 cards that I was going to say need to come out, and we got existence. Okay, so this is the card that I said, do you want it to come out or not? And it came back out. So obviously we needed this, but it's on the bottom. So for the past, we got understanding, laziness, and existence. And then we got the patience underneath it with the outsider and the rebel. I'm like, do you guys want me to pull all of those? It feels like this is kind of like the driving force to stuff. With the past, it feels like a lot of inner child stuff was going on. Just what I'm getting is a lot of you guys seeing things through a child lens, seeing things through your inner child lens. And it feels like a lot of you guys started this cycle of rebirth and breaking free of old patterns. Like this is past energy, like things that you guys have done or have been working on. With the understanding, laziness, and existence card, it feels like a lot of you guys like thought you understood things, but it's like you didn't. Like it feels like you thought you understood things, or you told yourself things like in your mind that weren't true. And it led to a lot of like disappointment, and it led to a lot of you guys, which this kind of feels similar to what we got yesterday. It feels like it led you guys to kind of just be lazy with shit and give up with stuff. Like where something hurt you, or you misunderstood something, or something disappointed you, and it kind of like fucked with your self-esteem, or it messed with you in some way that it affected you internally. It affected like how you see yourself, how you see the world, how you see relationships or other people, things like that. Obviously it'll be different for everybody, so take it how it resonates for you. But yeah, and it's this very like black and white, like tunnel vision way of thinking. Like the way you guys were seeing things, like I said, was through the child perspective, where you're looking at things in this very black and white way of thinking, instead of realizing that there's more to that than you realize. And it feels like some of you guys more recently got clarity to this, seeing that your way of thinking and your way of doing wasn't necessarily the best way to do things. And it was necessary for you to grow, but it's not necessary for where you are today, because you're not where today you is not past you. And so you've already kind of like leveled up from that. But it just like with the other cards, it's just like it feels like you haven't outgrown this cycle. Like you're still in this cycle right now. Like it's still not completed. And it feels like this energy where you guys were like, why the fuck is this not over? Like, why am I still feeling these things? Why do I still have these feelings, these emotions, stuff like that? And I'm still getting with this laziness card, it's like you're still living in the past. Like you're still holding on to people or situations and belief systems that hurt you. And you're using that as a way to form your decision making now. So that's kind of how the past is affecting you, and what's kind of going on with that. So let's see what we got for present. What do we need to know for the present energy? Damn, that came out, the celebration card, but it came out upside down with the adventure card. Do you want me to take the celebration upside down? Yeah or no? This card was coming out too. Okay, they want me to split the cards. Yeah or no? Okay, so present energy. We got the going with the flow on the bottom. I get two different groups. So for some of you, it feels like you've learned to surrender and you've learned to accept that even though things aren't where you want them to be or they're not what you want them to be, you're learning to accept things and making it easier on you. For some of you, it feels like you're resisting that. Like instead of trying to go with the flow, you're trying to force or control things. And I just actually did a reading on TikTok a few hours ago, and it was actually something about that. So that might be a message for you. You can go watch. It's on, actually I think I drafted it, but I'll upload it before this. I was at the shop, so I don't get like great internet there sometimes, so it doesn't upload my shit. Anyway, we got suppression, courage, turning in. And then we got celebration, adventure, the burden, innocence. Oh, I definitely, for present energy, I definitely get a lot of you guys. The foundation is really like breaking down. Like, and I talked about this yesterday in the reading, like the shadows. Let me figure out, hold on, how to put all this together for you guys. Because I'm getting like a bunch of shit at once and I'm trying to like figure out how to express it, like how to verbally communicate it. So it's like a lot of thoughts are coming in. Some of them are things you've heard from other people. Some of them are belief systems and things from the past that you've experienced. A lot of it has to do with this belief system or idea of something coming in from the past that didn't. And there's this disappointment energy or this I want to give up energy or this disbelief energy because of it. So what happened then is coming up now, but it might not be coming up in the way that it literally happened. It might be coming up in a different way for you to see it this time around to help you with letting it go. To help you with like healing these wounds that have been unhealed and for you to learn how to not allow people and experiences from the past to affect you now, because the person you are today is not who you used to be. And the behaviors you have today and the people and situations you let in your life today are not what they used to be. And if you are still doing that, maybe this video is not for you. But for the people who are in their more empowerment energy, where they used to maybe tolerate certain behaviors, certain beliefs, certain things, they used to tolerate certain behaviors and accept them. And now they're setting boundaries. Now there's awareness there. There's healing there. You guys have been in the healing cycle. That's what we were getting with the past. Like you've been in this healing cycle. And it's like, you've already learned how to like make better choices and do things that are healthier and not keep letting shitty people in your life and situations in your life. So it's like, why are we holding on to the trauma of the past and allowing it to affect us now? So even though you're still feeling those energies and those emotions, it's because it's breaking shit below the surface. It's breaking down things that you didn't realize you were feeling from the past, perceptions you didn't realize from the past. So a lot of this might be memories coming up or thoughts coming up to trigger these feelings that you didn't know you had below the surface. And I kind of talked about this yesterday and it feels very similar, is like where you might be telling yourself like one thing. Like, I'm going to give you an example of this, okay? Obviously, it's not necessarily this literal, but for some of you, it could be. So at the surface, like, you might say like, oh, I know, like, not all people cheat when they go into relationships. Like, people are trustworthy, and you want to trust somebody you're going to be in a relationship with, or you're in a relationship with. But below the surface of the subconscious level, you might have seen your parents cheat, or you might have been cheated on, or both of those things might have happened. And there's a deeper belief system that people cheat, that people don't value relationships, that people don't respect them, that people are opportunists and they just sleep with somebody because the opportunity comes in, that they don't respect people in relationships because of what you've experienced, what you've seen, what you've been conditioned. So although at the conscious level, you're sitting here and you're kind of rationalizing and justifying that you have these beliefs, below the surface, you actually don't trust it. You don't actually believe it. Your inner child does not feel safe in relationships because of that. So that's kind of what they're talking about, is breaking down that subconscious belief system and patterns and learning how to realize that the people and the things you've experienced are not you, and they're not repeating if you're making different choices and you're choosing yourself. And if you're watching this video and this resonates, it's not going to repeat. Like, you already know that because you know you're making different choices and you know you're a different person. And it's like you're healing these wounds that you didn't even realize you held on to. Some of these are not even your wounds. Some of these are just your experiences, like in your childhood, where you develop these conditioning and these belief systems, and then you watch TV and you watch movies where, like, as a woman, I'll say it, like, where you see like men cheat you see it in society all the time, where they cheat with the fucking babysitter, they sleep with the secretaries, it's constantly drilled in our head that women do too. Obviously, it's not a gender thing. I'm just speaking as a woman, where it's constantly drilled in your head, and then you're seeing it in movies where people are cheating, and then you're seeing it in the real world where people are cheating. And so you keep believing that this is true, and it's scary to let go of this conditioning, because if you let go of it, then you have to be vulnerable, then you have to trust. So you're healing these belief systems and ideas and conditionings and things like that. As it's coming up, it's a lot of repeated chatter because there's so many layers to it. So imagine as a kid, you saw your parents cheating, right? That starts it. And then you've had friends where you've seen them be cheated on, or they were cheaters, or you've cheated, or you've been cheated on. And then you're seeing it in movies, you're seeing it in social media, you're seeing it in the collective. And it's all these different fucking layers that are really like healing right now. So it could look like one thing to you as it's coming in, but it's actually not necessarily what it looks like. So that's what they're saying with the present energy. And a lot of you guys are going through. There's something like that that's just deep like that needs to heal. And a lot of it is conditioning and beliefs that are affecting you from having what you actually desire, because you're still at a different energy below the surface than where you are in your mind. With this celebration and an adventure card, present energy, it came out like this. It kind of flew out backwards, like upside down. It feels like a lot of you were grieving and really sad. It's like you're desiring this new adventure. You're wanting this safer place, this happier experience. You're wanting this certain experience you don't have right now. And for some of you, because a lot of times this is celebrating with other people, or it's, sharing in good news with other people or whatever. And it feels more so like this kind of like reclusive energy, kind of really not wanting to be around people, and like kind of wanting to do things on your own. You might have this like desire, at like a conscious level where you're like, I want to be around people, or I want to, experience these things, or I want to have happiness and stuff like that. And you want to be with other people, but you might not be in the energy for that to happen right now, because you might be on this adventure, like this solo adventure right now, because you're needing to figure things out, and you're needing space from other people's energy, from other people kind of affecting where you're at and what you're healing, stuff like that. Why the fuck did the word bacon just randomly pop in my head? It's so weird. I don't think it has anything to do with this reading. It just randomly popped in my head. I'm going to literally probably have a conversation with somebody later, and they're like, yeah, I just ate some bacon. I swear to God, every time I have random thoughts like that pop in my head, or random ass people pop in my head, like even people I don't know. It's like a friend's friend who like I pops in my head, and then they're like, oh yeah, I hung out with this person. I'm like, oh, that's why they popped in my head. Okay. Like, it's so fucking weird. I can't even explain it. It's so freaking weird. It's like somebody's thinking about bacon is what it's like, whatever. They're about to eat bacon or some shit. I don't know. Whatever. I don't even know who the fuck it is. I don't even, whatever. Anyway, with this burden and innocence, I get a lot of you guys are going through family issues right now. Relationship issues, but specifically with family. It feels like a lot of you guys are getting this deeper insight now, or like somewhat current, into kind of like all these obstacles and challenges you've had to overcome. Like, you're seeing that like you've experienced a lot of pain and a lot of trauma and a lot of shit growing up, and like even like, you know, teenage years, and even maybe in your young adult life. And it's like you're seeing all of that now, and it's like you're being able to reflect on it and bring yourself back to this place of like neutrality, like this place of soul energy where you're not sitting in the pain. So a lot of you guys are working on that right now. That might be why things feel so heavy and like burdens to you. It might feel like you just have a lot of shit on your plate and you're not really sure what to do. But it's because you're healing this, and it might feel really heavy. It might feel like it's really weighing you down. It might be just a lot of stuff. I get a lot of you guys are just healing so much freaking shit right now. Like, you don't even realize, and it feels like you're not even giving yourself enough credit for how far you've come and what you're healing and what you've experienced. So, all right, this is future. The Rebel card just fell out for the future. I like it. Y'all know I'm a fuck it. No, it popped, but it didn't come out. Which was the suppression card. I love the Rebel card. I love being a rebel, honestly. I hate fucking conforming to shit. I've been like that since I was a kid. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, was that my childhood that created me being a rebel, or was I naturally just born to be one? I have no idea. Oh shit, that is some energy. The fuck? Okay, this is future. Are we taking all these or no? Just listen. Damn, I just got some heaviness. All right, doesn't always mean bad though. We got moment to moment. With the Rebel, compromise and comparison. And I just heard like jealousy, but I don't think this is actually bad. So just give me like a second to channel into it, because I got hit with like a lot of energy as soon as I just pulled these cards. Okay, so for the future, what I'm getting with this moment to moment is you're taking one step at a time, and they're not letting you see the future on purpose. Like, you're not going to get a ton of clarity as you're moving forward. And they're doing this on purpose. And it's because it's part of a lesson and a cycle you're closing. It has a bigger purpose. You're not supposed to understand it. Some of you, it's like learning to surrender and trust to things, but also it's creating this, I just keep getting this like glowing energy internally. It's creating this like internal strength and power. And it's like, you know, you can handle it. Even when you've gotten clarity of the future and stuff like that, it didn't really change the fact that you were still feeling nervous. You're still feeling anxious, things like that. So it's like, trust that it will naturally happen in the moment. And I do get like for some of you, it's just going to kind of come out of nowhere. And they're giving me this example, so I'm going to say it to you. So for most of you who have been following me for a while, you probably know, like, I have a crystal store. I used to sell crystal. I've had this store open since July, so 2.5 years now. And before that, I started selling crystals out of my house. Well, I started going through this huge ass like shift in my gifts and all this stuff. And I was selling crystals out of my house for a few months, and I stopped. But before I had stopped selling them, I had said to Spirit, like, I really don't want people coming to my house. I'm feeling more energy. I don't really feel comfortable with people coming here anymore. Like, I want to open a business. And I was kind of looking up even like these, outdoor, like those nice, like bougie shed type things that look like little mini houses and stuff like that to kind of put outside the house or do something to just not have people in my zone, right? And I forgot about it because I was going through all this trauma healing. I was going through these energy shifts and all this stuff. And then randomly, probably 2 or 3 months later, I get the energy back and the motivation back to start selling crystals again. But I didn't want people coming to my house. So I was like, I'll meet them somewhere. So maybe a few days later, a week later, I'm literally driving to Tampa just by myself, going to pick up some good ass food. Need to start doing that. I haven't done that in forever. But going to pick out some good food. And literally on my drive, I get this message from Spirit, open a crystal store. And I literally signed the lease the next day. And I opened the business, signed it on a Tuesday, like evening. And it was open by Saturday afternoon, like literally fully open store. So like sometimes things like that will just come in. When the idea comes in, it's not always immediate because there's things you need to clear or things that need to transpire. You don't have to hold on to shit though. And you don't have to know it's going to come in. It will naturally come in at the right time when it's supposed to. So that's kind of what this is saying. It like might just come in out of nowhere. It's not just like something completely out of the blue, but when it comes in, it might be out of nowhere. You might have forgot about it or you're focusing on something else or whatever, something like that. With this Rebel card, Compromise, and Comparison card. So what I was getting with this when I first pulled it and this heaviness is some of this shit you guys are feeling now. And some of this is past energy too, where you're feeling this jealousy or insecurity that what you want isn't going to come in. And you're seeing it happen for other people. You're seeing other people in their happy energy. You're seeing other people getting the relationship or the job or the family or the kid or whatever it is that you're wanting, you're seeing other people have, or you have been seeing it, right? And there's some element of you comparing yourself to them and you feeling like maybe what you want isn't going to happen for you. You're not good enough. Things like that. It's going to be different for everybody. Feels like there's multiple layers to that, which is kind of related to the past and the present. They all kind of go together. But what's coming for the future is you actually breaking free of this energy. Is like you actually breaking free of these cycles where you start getting to this place where you're allowing things to naturally flow in, where you're coming to this place of internal safety with yourself and with spirit, universe, whatever word, where you're breaking out of this needing to know everything, breaking out of this holding on to stuff. And if you think about it, I know I said this before, but if you think about it, anything you've been kind of shown for the future, you still were worried about, you still were anxious about, you still didn't believe. So regardless if you get the information ahead of time, does it really actually help you? Because then you're like, well, is it going to happen? Maybe it was just my thought. Maybe it was just this, blah, 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 blah. And you go into all these extra, things. So it's like, whether you have the answer or you don't, does it really actually help you? Like, honestly, does it really actually help you? When you get into this energy, you get to this place where you stop resisting shit so much, so things become easier. And I think I talked about this yesterday. I can't remember, but it's kind of like that living in the moment energy, right? It's like, if there's, if you're in a lot of waves, you're in the ocean, you're in the middle of the ocean, and there's a lot of waves, there's a fucking riptide. When you're trying to swim against it, it's dragging you and pulling you. It's making things worse. You're going to hurt yourself. Whatever chaos it's causing all this extra anxiety and fear and worry and all this, anticipate all this energy. When you go, I'm going to relax into it and back float, you will just naturally move out of it. So you're not going to constantly be in this internal state of anxiety and fear and panic energy. You're going to get to this place where you realize that everything that's meant for you is going to naturally come in. You don't need to control stuff. You don't need to chase stuff. You don't need to overwork for stuff. You can just fucking relax. You can enjoy life. You can relax. Even if you're still doing healing stuff, you can still find moments of happiness. You can still find good, positive things as they shift and come in. And that's what it is. And you realize that, what other people have, they need for them at that time for whatever reason. And maybe your purpose is bigger. Maybe your purpose is different. Maybe what you want coming in is going to be way fucking bigger than what they have and way more abundant. And it's not even a comparison thing. It's just more so like, what if what you get is actually way deeper and way better and way more abundant and way more like love and money and all this extra stuff? So, you know, what you're seeing them get, maybe that is like so great to them. And maybe you just desire something deeper and bigger and more. And so you're working harder toward that, or it's taking longer to come in because it's just something like that. But for some of you, it's because it's part of a soul mission. It's part of a soul purpose. It's part of some type of like soul design, soul contract or something that you have. And it has a bigger purpose than you have awareness to. You might have a little bit of insight to it. You might have like a few pieces of the puzzle, but you don't have the full puzzle yet. And so you don't understand why it needs to do that. So all of this energy where you're feeling like jealous, you're feeling insecure, where you're feeling all these things, this is going to be a cycle you break free of. I also get this energy too. I'm going to tell you this. Some of you, it's like sibling jealousy energy. And some of you, it's like this feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like you're unworthy, like body issues, confidence issues, self-esteem issues, deeper like internal feelings that you have about yourself, where you look outside for validation, where you're comparing yourself to others, where you don't feel the way you should feel about yourself, which is great. That's what you're breaking free of too. So this is like the future energy of what this is coming. So if you notice, it all kind of relate. I just want to pull like one other message and see kind of, let's just pull from the same deck and see what other message Spirit has for us, like advice, or if they have some other message for us. Excuse me. Laziness came back out. No, they don't want me to pull the cards on the bottom. Okay, we got intensity, morality, and laziness. Okay, so this intensity, this feels like a lot of energy is coming at you and a lot of obstacles and things are kind of coming at you. And it's like you have all this heaviness and you have all this clouded energy. And a lot of you guys are feeling very stuck and you're feeling very blinded and you don't know what to do. For some of you, it feels like you're stuck and you don't know, like, am I just being lazy? Am I just not doing what I should be doing? Or am I trusting the process and just relaxing into it? Do you have a desire to do something? Then do it. If you don't have the desire to do something, then don't do it. That's the answer. Like, if you're sitting there and you're like, well, I'll give you this. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I talked about this yesterday too. Is like, my lease is up for the store. I want a new store, like a bigger one, and you know, all this stuff. And so when I first got the notice, made the decision, like, okay, no, I definitely want a bigger store. I do not want to be here for another year. And so at that time, I was like, I know that I don't need to look for it, and you guys will literally hand it to me. Like, you will throw it in my lap, right? And I keep getting almost this energy. This popped up yesterday that I had met somebody like a year ago who did real estate stuff. And I literally told her about this like a year ago. I have not seen her since. I met her in the crystal store and I gave her my email address. And I almost get the sense like she's going to literally randomly message me a fucking year later, like a listing or something that's going to be, it's going to pop in her head. She's going to remember. She's going to be like, oh, this is the chick that had and it's like, she's just going to email it to me. That's kind of the feeling I get. Like, as I'm doing this reading, I didn't get that. I got that like a little bit yesterday, like she popped in my head, but it just kind of like came through as I was saying this. So like, for me, I was like, let me look. More so, I think, for honestly ego stuff, and more so because people are always like, well, did you look? Did you look? Did you look? And I felt this need to like be like, I looked, but I know it's not the right thing, blah, 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 blah. I could feel the resistance energy when I was looking. And the thing is, I don't want to fucking look. I'd rather it just come in. I'd rather Spirit just be like, here you go. And then like it just come in. So it's like, I don't have this desire to look. I don't have this motivation to look. I don't have this energy to look. If I did, then it's something I should be doing. So like, you'll kind of know based on what you actually want to do or not. You have to be really like in tune with yourself though, because like, this is why I always tell people like, the biggest part of the healing journey is self-awareness. And once you have the awareness, making a different choice, making the choices that align with that. Like sometimes we will not do things out of fear. I'm not doing it out of fear. I'm doing it out of, I know it's just going to naturally come to me. My fear response is actually to go search for it, thinking that things won't come in for me, that I have to work my ass off to get them, even though I know it's not true. And this has been kind of going on with my business too, where I'm like sitting here like, should I do this or shouldn't I do this? And then I was like, you know what? I actually want to do this, so I'm going to go do it. So when you have the desire for it, you have the motivation, you have like that type of energy, that right there tells you that this is something you should be doing. This tells you that this is something that's opening up. It doesn't have to be an intuitive message to come in for you to do it. It's just this feeling and this wanting to do it. And when you have the want to do it, then fucking do it. Obviously things that are good for you. I don't mean, you guys are not dumb. Like, you understand what I'm saying. But if you're feeling like exhausted, you're feeling like you don't have the energy to do it, you're feeling this resistance, you're feeling this lack of motivation, then it's probably not what you're supposed to be doing, and it's probably not the right time. So if you're kind of stuck with that, that's a message for you. And now I just feel like I want to pull like 1 or 2 more cards related to this. Isolation and friendliness. This kind of reminds me of what I just said about the freaking adventure card and the celebration card. It feels kind of like the same energy. It feels like some of you guys are like, I kind of want to be alone. I kind of want to process my feelings alone. But then it's like, I want to hang out with people and like talk to them. And you feel kind of just like, I'm not sure really what to do. If you feel like hanging out with somebody and talking to them, then maybe wait until you're in that energy and see if you can do it then. Because a lot of us are going in and out of trend. This is happening to me actually. So it's funny that these cards came out where earlier I was like, oh, I should message my friend and see if she wants to grab like dinner this weekend. But I didn't message her. And it's because I know that my shit is so up and down that I'm not sure by the time the weekend hits. It's Wednesday. I'm not sure by the time the weekend hits, I'm going to want to fucking hang out with her. And it's not anything to do with her. It's because as I'm going through these ups and downs, sometimes they're really overwhelming and I just cannot fucking be around people. Like I just don't want to, and I hate canceling plans. So if you're kind of not really sure what to do, and it feels like some of you guys not sure if you should ask for support or deal with it on your own. If you feel like you're having a really hard time, you feel like you need somebody to listen to you, you feel like you need advice, reach the fuck out and ask somebody for help. Like if you're feeling like you can't handle it on your own, you're feeling just really like alone, you're feeling like you need support, you need love, you need something, reach out. If you're feeling like I'm fine, I can handle it on my own, this just sucks. If you want to reach out, fine, but you don't have to. Like, it just feels like some of you guys like are not sure, like, should I reach out for support or deal with this on my own? There's no right or wrong answer. If you want to reach out to people, then reach out to people. If you want to like hang out with people, then hang out with people. It's just honoring whatever you're feeling. If you're kind of stuck in the middle, then just give it like an hour or two, give it some fucking space, and then just see how you feel after a little while, because then you'll kind of see what it is that you really want. Like some of you guys, you might be where I'm at, which is kind of want to stay to myself, but I miss hanging out with people and I miss my friends. But at the same point, I don't really want to go do it. Like I do, but I don't. So for me, I'm just like, I'm going to stay and like just chill and keep to myself. If I have enough energy, like I'll talk to somebody and then kind of just have like a little bit of that interaction. And then if I don't, I kind of just keep to myself. So just try to honor what's going on. But I'd say the best thing to do is just kind of give it like a little bit of space, like 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours, and see kind of how you feel in that period of time. And then you'll kind of see which one you really need or want. So I hope that this reading helps, and I hope you guys all have an awesome night.